The Halloween season is upon us again. It's like it was made for us yokai. From all the things we adapted from humans, this one fits us the most. It's a time of fright and horror for humans, but we are the frighteners. Since humans discovered our existence several months ago, a lot of their restriction on mischief has been lifted. Many fox spirits and 𝗵𝗪s have been pranking humans. We've done it ourselves, and you have enjoyed it. It's our nature after all. So, it's obvious that you would have adapted that mindset after your transformation into a yokai. We also find the holiday a strangely romantic time. I think it's because we embrace what makes us yokai. Horror and romance are something that strangely go together. It's quite impressive how many former humans exist now. Even more so when so many of them are romancing the yokai who turned them. Well, there is us to start, but there is also Kuro and Jonathan, as well as Akila and Sam, and Kaiki. Well, she just has Shuto and her human friends. Speaking of former humans, there is a spooky story about one of them, the second one. Okay, it's not that scary, but it is a bit dark compared to the story of some of the other former humans. I've told you about the first one, Dada, and the fourth 𝗬𝗻. But then there's the second one, Wakita. Her story was that she was born into a rich family that was once known to be very powerful. But once the yokai's existence was revealed back then, it caused a massive power shift, which crippled their power. Wakita's family wanted to get back at yokai by becoming a family of yokai hunters. They were quite skilled hunters and revered by most yokai. Wakita was the fourth born of her siblings. Her parents took aboard the first two born of sisters as the new future symbol of her family. However, her and her third born brother were pushed to the side and did not receive the same attention. Despite that, she still joined a yokai hunter group and was an excellent hunter. Her hunting group gave her a ton of respect, but could never truly get attached to anyone due to the frequent deaths of hunters. One day, her brother was killed by a yokai, but her family seemed to not care at all. This angered Wakita. It only heightened how much her family didn't care about her. She would eventually grow sympathetic to yokai. She would turn herself in, and then the yokai decided to try to turn her into a yokai. She survived the process, making her the second human to become a yokai. She was also the first to become a crow tengu. The yokai had no idea she was from the family who had a history of killing several yokai. They were shocked when they found out. When news broke out to humanity, it destroyed her human family reputation. Many groups began distancing themselves from the family. Her two older sisters were frustrated and vowed to kill her. They got their chance when their group decided to launch an attack against her village. They found each other during the attack and fought. After a 30-minute duel, Akita killed one of her sisters, while the other one had to be carried away due to her injuries from the battle. Akita was eventually accepted into the village, and it finally gave her a family. But what was kind of scary about her was that every other former human still has some kindness towards their humanity in them. Like they won't attack non-hunters, eat humans, or brutally execute hunters. But 𝗏𝗏 didn't seem to care at all about humanity. She didn't necessarily kill innocent humans or anything, but she had a problem just brutally murdering hunters. And she had no problem eating human meat from all the hunters she killed. She even considered eating her dead sister, but she gave the body to an 𝗦𝗎. To humanity, she became a symbol of a corrupted human from a popular family. There were stories of her going into family homes and forcing children to watch as she slowly ripped their parents to pieces, often keeping them alive as long as possible to draw out the pain. Then she would eat the pieces. 𝗏𝗏 has denied this, and this is likely a human fabrication. She would go on to finally find happiness, and she even met 𝗏𝗏 from what actually happened to her human family. Well, it simply died out. Her only surviving sister never got a chance for revenge, and she reportedly died in battle. 5 years later, 𝗏𝗏 is no longer around, as she died a few hundred years ago. However, a few of the people that have met her are still around. From what we know, she was overall pleasant, but she was kind of a little creepy. Some say they keep some of the bones from the hunters she killed. It's hard to really know. There are a lot of legends about her. There are many legends about yokai from the past. I've told you about them before. Humans used to consider us myths. Obviously, it's not true. But we do have our stories of myths and mystical creatures. In a few ways, humans are considered mystical creatures to us. There are just many surprises as we find in humans. The concept of humans turning into a yokai was considered a major change in our worldview of humanity. Before, it was always accepted that humans and yokai were completely different. But if you can believe it or not, there are some myths that have scared me when I was a kid. I remember learning about these spirits called 𝗦𝗏. They were creatures that live not far from the Yokai Village. They never eat humans, but they will always eat yokai. However, what prevented them from entering the village and eating us was that they couldn't be around multiple yokai at once. They could only be around 1 or 2 at a time. They don't actually exist. It was just a story to keep rebellious yokai kids from leaving the village and possibly accidentally attracting humans. Even when I got the rights to leave the village to explore humanity, I was a bit on edge when I left the village. I left with 𝗏𝗏 and some of my other friends, but I was still nervous about when I was going to see one or not. What's funny is that I learned about 𝗦𝗏 before I even knew about humans. We don't learn about humans till we reach about 50 years old. In some cases, we don't even know about other yokai villages till then. But there was this sort of mystical thing about humans when we learned about them. It taught us about the relation between us and the world. But there is no shortage of horror myths around humans. There were rumors about experiments where humans were able to find a way to move their physical bodies and exist as a pure spiritual being, almost just like us. Indeed, you'll have proven the idea of this was that they would become unkillable yokai slayers, completely unstoppable, and have the power of a nuclear warhead. So much so that yokai infiltrators would search to see if this actually was true. This was proven to have never happened, but it was proven that humans did attempt such a thing a few decades ago, when they found out it was a complete failure, but it is likely where the myth came from. So, do you want to go see your friends and family again this Halloween? You told me it took them a while for them to accept you as a yokai. I've heard them tell you that you have changed. Well, I noticed you have changed a lot since then too. You're not quite the same person when I first met you. Not that it's a bad thing. I think it's obvious that I enjoy you quite a bit. More so than some of the people I've met. 𝗵𝗪, don't even get me started with him. He's not even the fun sort of scary. He's just a completely wicked tengu. I'm not scared of him myself, but he is just as violent as a yokai can be. Enjoys killing and eating humans. He likes carrying their heads around my office. He only killed 3 humans in the past, I think. But he seems to like to hold on to their corpse just to try to freak everyone out. One time during Halloween, he literally used a fresh human corpse as a Halloween decoration. He literally just hung it in the workroom, and then he would eat from it when he got hungry, although our boss has enough and forced him to remove it, since it was spilling blood and guts all over the floor. Pretty nasty, I know. It's pretty late, and Halloween will be tomorrow, so why don't I tell you one more story? This story is about a human during the first human yokai wars. A group of humans tried to attack a village. Like many before, it failed. Most of the hunter groups were killed. A few got away, but a handful were captured. But one of these captured humans were strange. He was paler than the rest and had these red eyes. The yokai tried to interrogate him, but he said, "Death is only the beginning, and soon we will all be dead." The yokai interrogator just took that as him being some emo whack job. But an hour later, they noticed he died in his cell. They dumped the body along with the rest of the corpses, but then something strange happened. The yokai that kept watched over the bodies noticed that what appeared to be spider legs were coming out of his stomach. By the time he got the attention of the other yokai, it was too late. The body stood up as he began to undergo some transformations. His body began to expand like a balloon. Its teeth grew sharper. More spider legs began to grow out of his body. Parts of its skin turned yellow, like some fungus was growing off of him. It grew to the size of 2 buildings. It looked extremely ugly and unhealthy. It looked like a living mutated corpse. Yokai fighters quickly got together to fight it, but it breathed acid all over them, killing 1/4 of them in a second. It destroyed 10 buildings in an instant. The yokai kept throwing themselves at him, but no magic or blade would even hurt it. The yokai kept falling, and the village was quickly being reduced to a ruin. With no other choice, it was decided that 15 fox spirits had to combine their magic to create a massive fireball that could level a whole village. Meanwhile, all the other yokai would keep attacking to buy them some time. After 5 minutes, and hundreds of yokai killed, they fired it. It hit the abomination, of course. The whole village around it was destroyed. Thankfully, it died. The yokai couldn't believe what had happened and how it happened. The village had to be abandoned. Only 35% of the villagers survived and moved to another village. This event haunted them for the rest of their lives. Pretty scary, right? Yeah, of course, it's fake. I thought it was real too when I heard about it. Though it's only a story. It's best that we get some sleep soon. Tomorrow's going to be a big day. There's so much fun to be had tomorrow. Why don't we meet Shuto and go prank some humans tomorrow? Are you excited? Good. I love you, my darling. I will see you when you wake up tomorrow. This is going to be a great Halloween. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join the Discord, notification squad if you'd like. If you'd like to help, fill out the form, and I will see you there. 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗹𝗀𝗀, thank you for your continuing service as my subscriber. And if you are still